Hello and welcome to Tomorrow is Yesterday, the show where we review every episode of Star Trek in production order. My name is Brandon Couch, and joining me this week, we have a very special guest. We're thankful that he took time out of his busy schedule to meet with us. Ladies and gentlemen, elected official David Moss.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not wearing my crown right now.
Don't joke about that, not with our current political climate.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, since I got elected to a very, very tiny role in a very small community, I've had multiple people come to my house, congratulate me. Someone actually brought cupcakes. And I've had two news articles written about me. And one of them that was actually in the national paper. I'm like, what?
Our little David's all grown up. What paper?
It was, hold on. You're gonna make me look.
You don't have to. You could just say I don't know and move on.
No, okay. Independent political report.
That would make sense.
Yep.
But yeah, so what we're talking about is David ran for school board in his local election and won.
So it's funny because we were actually in a tornado warning the time the election results got announced. And so we were actually in just we were in the storm shelter, and then we just come out and the superintendent called me, and he's like, "Oh, congratulations and everything." And I'm like, "Congratulations on what?" He's like, "You won." I was like, "Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I was worried more about my house blowing away,
Yeah.
you know." But yeah,
See, so I was at home and Ryan asked me, "Oh, hey, did the guy we voted for win?" And I was like, "I don't know." So I decided I Googled like trying to find election results from that night, and I was just scrolling through like a bunch of local elections, and like I just came across Moss won. I was like, "Hey, good for David." The election I was looking for wasn't even on that page.
I'm like, guys, I only got 67 votes. Like, come on now.
Still important. But yeah.
30 of those votes were related to me.
And no, that guy I voted for did not win his election, which is fine.
I have to say, this is the first time I've actually voted for the winner in this election.
In any election. But yeah, that's good. Dave's gonna try to fix the education system in one of the worst states in education.
Whoa, you're putting way too much faith. I'm not on the state board of education.
Nah, but at the very least, you can like fight people who say we need to teach Christianity in all schools, or at the very least, your school.
Right. Which would be tough because, our high school principal is a pastor at a church.
So he should know the importance of separation of church and state.
He should, whether he does or not.
He should know that religious teaching should be on the parents.
Dun,
Anyways, Star Trek.
dun, 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 dun. Is that the right?
No, maybe? I don't know. I'm a level with you, David. Of the original series, this is my least favorite episode. This episode
Hold
sucks.
on. Which one was this?
We're doing Wolf in
Let
the
me.
Fold.
Wolf in the Fold. You know, so besides all the historical inaccuracies, like, like, because it's talking about the early 2000s or not early 2000s, but like
it talks about the 1900s a little bit.
there's a mention of so I mean the USSR was a thing, but like it's like 2000s. I think it mentioned it like USSR, and then in Kiev was like in the USSR. I'm like, well, that's in Ukraine, which is not, and USSR doesn't exist anymore.
Wait, does it say the 2000s?
Yeah,
Hold on a second. I'm gonna scroll. scroll down in my script and look at this because now I'm curious.
I did watch like 2 episodes today, so you got to bear with me. Oh, that was another just to kind of, I guess I'm going to spoil the plot a little bit here, but it talks about Jack the Ripper and how it's mysterious and everything. Earlier, early last year, they figured out who Jack the Ripper was.
Yes, yes, it does mention Jack the Ripper and how he's a space alien thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me 1 second. I found the line. Yeah, no, it says the key of USSR thing was in 1974.
Oh, okay.
So it may have still been part of the USSR. The USSR may have still been a thing. I don't know when the
Huh.
wall fell.
I just found it too.
Now I'm going to look that up. Because now I want to know when the USSR stopped being a thing.
I think in the 80s, right?
That sounds right.
Maybe 90s, 80s,
Nah,
90s.
definitely not the 90s. Okay, immediately wrong. 1991.
See, I said the 90s.
So the 90s. So it was accurate.
Eh,
It'll be
I
inaccurate later though, because like I'm pretty sure Chekhov says at some point he's from the USSR.
watch later on, like Scotland doesn't exist anymore, and Scotty saying that he's from Scotland is like completely wrong.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Uh,
honestly,
I don't see that one
Scotland's
happening though. I think Scotland's here to stay.
maybe unless Trump invades it.
Ugh. God. Why? Why do we live in this timeline?
Because we have to.
I guess. I'm freaking done with all this Trump. Every day it's like, oh, I'm ignoring the Constitution, or I'm illegally arresting people for freedom of speech, or I'm threatening to invade another country, or I'm actually starting a trade war with another country. Maybe I should run for office.
You should.
Nah.
You should.
Anyways, Wolf in the Fold first aired on December 22nd, 1967. Written by Robert Bloch, who we last mentioned for writing Cat's Paw, and directed by Joseph Pevney, who we last mentioned for directing Amok Time. And then we have our cast. We have John Fiedler as Chief Hengist, who, if that voice sounded familiar, he played Piglet in Winnie the Pooh.
Well, that's how that sounds. Why he sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's really weird listening to Piglet's voice being like, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. Alright, then we have Charles Mulcahy as Prefect Jarrus, who we last saw in The Return of the Archons as Landru, Pillar Surratt as Cybo, James Doohan as Lieutenant Commander Scott, who we last saw in The Doomsday Machine, George Takei as Lieutenant Sulu, who we also last saw in The Doomsday Machine, Charles Dierkup as Morla, Joseph Bernard as Tark, Tanya Lamani as Kara or Kara. I think it's Kara. John Winston as Lieutenant Kyle, who I forgot to write down when we last saw them because they are a recurring character. I think he was in the Doomsday Machine, so I'm gonna go with that. Virginia Aldridge as Lieutenant Karen Tracy, Judy McConnell as Yeoman Tankris, and Judy Shervin as Nurse. And that is our cast.
I don't know any of them besides Piglet.
You knew the one guy who played Landru.
Uh,
So we open at this club place on an alien planet. Who is it? It's Kirk, McCoy, and Scotty are sitting at a table watching a belly dancer.
it was kind of awkward at the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, it was. But yeah, they're watching this belly dancer. They're all into it. Scotty's really into it.
really into it.
I will point out, David wasn't there for that episode, but there was an episode where I told Ryan, anytime there is a storyline or a plot beat with Scotty that involves women, it does not end well for anybody. And this is just further proof of this.
Uh, especially for Scotty, right?
Especially for Scotty. And LeVar Burton always complains about the engineer not getting girls. Like, Scotty had it way worse.
I mean, at least LeVar Burton had holograms.
Uh, we'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. Anyways, yeah, the dance and Scotty starts clapping and Kirk's like, Scotty, they use the lights to clap here. Interesting little detail, but anyways, the dancer goes over to their table and leaves with Scotty. And then Kirk and McCoy start talking, and McCoy's just like, this, I prescribed this because Scotty had an accident involving a woman, and if we didn't do this, he would hate all women for the rest of his life. So really, I'm just this is some sexist crap. This is some sexist psychotherapy. I'm gonna have to edit later.
Seriously.
Then Kirk and McCoy leave the place. It's all foggy. They hear a woman scream. They run over.
She's dead, Jim. Stabbed 12 times.
And then we see Scotty holding a knife. And that is our teaser.
That was a very long teaser.
That was not a very long teaser at all.
No.
Especially with how I didn't even read any of it except for the clip part.
Captain's log, stardate 3614.9, planet Argilius 2. While on therapeutic shore leave, Mr. Scott has fallen under suspicion of having brutally murdered an Argilian woman. The chief city administrator, Mr. Hengist, has taken charge of the investigation but has learned little of value.
Alright, so where are we? I think we're back at that place we started. Yeah, we're back at that place we started. Piglet is interrogating Scotty and asking Kirk and McCoy questions. Or basically saying, this never happens here. What's up with that? Hengist mentioned that this isn't his home planet. He's from Rigel 4. Rigel. You know, in our first episode, you mentioned that Rigel comes up a lot. And doing this podcast, I have now actually noticed that.
Rigel and what's the other one? There's a few of them that come up all the time. It gets really bad in Next Generation.
I don't know. Did you know that in the show Farscape, there's a character named Rigel? It's spelled differently, but there's a character with that name.
Huh. I've never seen Farscape.
I've seen the first season. I watched it not that long ago. It's interesting. Yeah, basically he mentions if he was on his home planet, he'd have dozens of investigators, but crap like this doesn't happen here, so it's just him.
That's why it's the perfect planet.
That's totally not going to come up later. McCoy's like, you're not from here, and Hank is basically like, nah, people here kind of suck, so they hire other people from outside to do office jobs.
So what is his actual job?
He's the chief city administrator. Okay, so he asks Scotty about the knife or what happened, and Scotty doesn't remember anything. Well, that's not helpful. So Kirk tries to help. He's like, you left with the girl. What happened next? Well, we were walking the fog. I was trying to lead the way, even though she's from here and probably knows where she's going better than I am, but I'm a man and this was made in the 60s. Then I heard the girl scream, and then nothing. Kirk and McCoy walk over a few steps, and he's like, "If he says he can't remember, he can't remember. It might be the head injury. That's supposed to make him hate all women now."
I want to know what happened to make him hate all women before.
There was an explosion caused by a woman, and Scotty got thrown into a bulkhead. That's what McCoy said in the teaser.
But I mean, that doesn't cause you to hate all women.
I know, David, but this was written by men in the 60s. They were dumb. Basically, McCoy's saying, there's no chance Scotty did this. You can't let this happen. And Kirk's just like, hey, we're on their planet. We have to follow their laws. I can't do anything about this. We don't have diplomatic immunity.
It's not like we're Starfleet. We can just beam up and disappear.
I mean, they can, but then, like, Starfleet would just give them back to the planet. Like, you can't just kill people on the planet and then leave.
Uh,
Then Hengist is like, oh, hey, his fingerprints are on the weapon. You know, because he was holding the knife. We knew that. But yeah, so only Scotty's fingerprints are on the weapon. So, not looking great for Scotty. But Scotty doesn't know.
you know, the crew of the Enterprise never actually checked that. It was the local authorities that did.
Yeah, he's the one who says it.
I know.
Kirk's like, maybe you should question the other people who left the whatever right before Scotty did. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm still working on finding them. I know how to do my job, Kirk. So Kirk asks, what's the law in cases like this? And then we hear some other guy say, the law of Argalius is love. And then this guy walks in. This guy is Jarvis, what is he? Where's the line? Where's the line? Oh, he's the prefect. So this guy walks in with his wife. Hengist says, this is the suspect, and Jarvis is like, that guy doesn't look like he could kill. They usually don't.
I don't know. Scotty kind of looks like a killer. If you're just going off of looks.
I think Scotty could kill.
I mean, doesn't he eventually?
You said, what about the Enterprise?
Yeah.
And basically Jarvis is like, hey, my wife's gonna do some mystical stuff to get to the bottom of this.
You know, this is not where I thought this episode was going. I thought they were going to be like, honestly, I thought it was going to be the same as the Voyager episode where Tuvok does all the mind melds
Oh.
on everybody.
Does Spock do a mind meld? No. He
He
doesn't do a
doesn't.
mind meld.
Not in this one.
No, that's in next week's episode.
Next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, Spock doesn't leave the ship, does he? Yeah. Spock's not around for this part. Hankins is like, shouldn't this be handled in an official manner? And Jarvis is like, it will. I'm the highest official, so we're going to do it like this. I know, like, Hengist ends up being the killer, but, like, throughout this, he probably should be listening to Hengist. Like, if it wasn't for that one fact, like, Hengist is right about everything.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he's like the pillar of truth the entire time. Well, not truth, but of sanity.
Of sanity, of law and order.
Yeah. Like, I'm kind of sad that they made him the bad guy in this because he was actually making sense
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah. Because the whole time, like, looks like Scotty did it.
Yeah.
Now we're in Jarvis's home. Kirk, McCoy, and him are talking about the wife's empathic abilities. Kirk suggests that we beam someone down with a psycho tricorder to record Scotty's mind, and it'll tell us what happened.
Now the question is, how many tricorders do they have? How many different ones for different things?
Normal tricorder, medical tricorder, psycho tricorder. 3 so far.
And how do I get a psycho tricorder?
Hengist is like, that's not a good idea. And Jarvis is like, yeah, we can do that. My wife's not ready yet. Kirk calls Spock. Kirk tells Spock to send someone down with a psycho tricorder. Spock's like, okay. McCoy says that the psycho tricorder will require privacy to be effective. I'm sure that doesn't go bad at all.
Plot twist.
But also, why does it require privacy? You're just scanning his brain.
What, are you going to peel back his scalp and scan it and then put it back?
The real reason. So someone can get murdered in a room with Scotty. That's the real reason it needs to be private. Yeah, Jarvis tells him to go to this chamber in the other room, and they're like, cool. Hengist leaves to go get the other suspects. A blue shirt beams down Lieutenant Tracy. Kirk tells her to go to the other room and scan Scotty's brain. Almost said Spock. Yeah, scan Scotty's brain. McCoy starts talking to Kirk. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't have done such a thing. I think now McCoy's on the side of, that concussion and the explosion. He hates women. Maybe he did it. Maybe he did it.
I've known people to have concussions, and they've never made people commit murder.
McCoy says it could be hysterical amnesia, and that's why he's not remembering any of it. All right, then Jarvis and Cybo show up. Cybo's the wife, and they're like, yeah, we're ready. And they're like, okay, where's the knife? Where is the knife? It was right here. No one knows where the knife is. David, I can see you playing Monopoly.
I didn't know you had your screen up.
Yeah, I always keep half of you on the screen and the notes on the other half.
Dude, I've been playing it for like this whole episode.
Yeah, that I don't care about. It's the fact that you had it to where I could see your screen. All right. Anyways, all right. I think we hear a scream. They go to the chamber that Scotty's in, and Tracy's on the ground dead.
Stop. She's dead, Jim. Just like the other one. Stabbed. Over and over again.
And that is the end of Act 1.
Act 1?
Yes, Act 1.
I'm joking, I know.
Jarvis gives Scotty an Argelian stimulant to drink. And they ask Scotty what happened, and Scotty's like, I don't know. Where's the lieutenant? She's dead, Scotty. And you were... No, wait, he wasn't holding the knife this time.
No, the knife
But she's
disappeared.
dead. Alright, she's dead and you were the only one there. But, I don't remember anything. They ask what happened, and he's like, I was sitting there, she was taking the readings, and now I'm sitting here. And then McCoy's like, it could be his what was it? Head injury. What do you call the head injury?
Concussion?
Concussion, that's it. Scotty suffering from that CTE. Kirk asks if there's another way into that room, and George is like, yeah, but it's been locked for years.
I would check that entry point.
I think McCoy goes to do that. Someone goes to check it. I think it's McCoy. Hengist shows up. He shows up with two other dudes. Kirk asks where they've been for the past few minutes, and Hengist is like, hey man, this is my investigation. And Kirk's like, shut up, Hengist, another person died.
Because now it's Starfleet's investigation too, because a Starfleet officer died.
They don't ever establish that, but that would make sense.
But I mean, if someone probably would have fought it.
See, if that was written today, they probably would have done that storyline.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine?
All right, so Hengist asked one of the guys he just picked up. He's like, hey, my men found you near here. What were you doing? And he's like, I didn't kill anyone. Then tell them what you were doing.
Yeah.
Okay, Hengist asks how the girl was killed. Kirk says she was stabbed like the other one and there's no sign of the weapon. Hengist is like, well, dang, if only it had any actual facilities to investigate murders. Because this planet's dumb. Let's see. All right, and Kirk asks the other guy, "Hey, you were the musician at that cafe. You were playing for the girl who got murdered." And he's like, "Yeah, she's my daughter, dude." But more like emotional than that.
We're just gonna leave the fact that he was just like, okay, leave with an off-worlder. It's fine.
Wait, what?
You know the girl who died, who left with Scotty, and the musician was her father.
Um.
He just, you get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. Hey, they're as McCoy called them earlier, a hedonistic society. So I'm sure that's just like par for the course on that planet.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my dance. Then I'm gonna leave with some dude.
I'll be back in 30 minutes.
All right. Then they go back to the younger guy. Who are you? What's your deal with this? And he's like, I'm engaged. I was engaged to marry her. We love each other. And the dad's like, no, you were always jealous. She didn't like that. She didn't love you. Kirk's like, well, jealousy's a motive for murder. And Jarvis is like, yeah, we don't like jealousy on this planet. Anything else is fine, but not jealousy.
Anything else is fine, just not jealousy.
Just not jealousy and not murder. But the dude's just like, I didn't kill anyone. And George is like, we'll see. We're going to do the hocus pocus stuff. Oh, then McCoy comes back being like, the lock might have been picked, but it also might not have been picked. I can't tell. Kirk asks, I think, Morla, the younger guy, can you prove you went directly home? And he's just like, dude, this is my investigation. And Kirk's like, well, then ask questions. Don't just stand there. He couldn't ask questions, Kirk. You've been asking questions this whole time. Couldn't get a word in.
I mean, that's typical Kirk.
Yeah. And then Jarvis is like, Captain, you're acting like someone who's very desperate to save his friend. Is it also because you don't want to lose this planet as a spaceport? And Kirk's like, yeah, of course I'm trying to save my friend and keep this spaceport because it's strategically a good place for my military. And then Hank's like, Captain, in both cases, Scotty was found alone with the dead body. Then Slibo shows up and he's like, all right, I'm ready to do the hocus pocus. All right, and then Kirk suggests that they seal the room so no one can get in or out. And they're like, cool, room sealed. And then Spock calls Kirk on the communicator. He thinks the empathic abilities are interesting, but not grounds to bet a man's life. And Kirk's like, well, it's their planet. We gotta do what they say. Because Spock does say we should just beam him aboard and scan his brain.
By not removing his scalp.
By not removing his scalp. All right, now they're all circled around a table holding hands.
Let us begin. Let the circle not be broken. Concentrate upon the flame which burns upon the altar of truth. Yes, there is something here. Something terrible. I feel its presence. Fear, anger, hatred. Anger feeds the flame. Oh, there is evil here. Monstrous, terrible evil. Consuming hunger. Hatred of all that lives. Hatred of women. A hunger that never dies. It is strong, overpowering, an ancient terror. It has a name. Baratis Kesla. Rejek, devouring all life, a hunger that will never die. Rejek!
So whenever I first heard this, I thought they were saying redacted. I'm like, what?
So yeah, then the lights go out. She screams. The lights come back on, and Scotty's holding her dead body. He drops her, and she lands in McCoy's lap with a knife sticking out of her back. Maybe Scotty did do it. I'm flipping my opinion. I think Scotty did it.
He did.
Now Kirk's like, so there's 3 murders now, And Scotty's been the only possible person each time, and McCoy's like, I don't care, Scotty didn't do it. And Kirk's like, but yeah, the blow to his head, maybe. And Scotty's like, no, I didn't do it. I remember this time. But yeah, they just keep talking. Hankus is like, yeah, I think he's guilty. I'm perfectly satisfied with that outcome. Eventually, Scotty's... Wait, is this a scene? Wait, no, I think Scotty says he remembers it on the Enterprise. I don't think we're there yet. But yeah, they're all arguing. Hankus thinks he did it. Kirk thinks he did it, but isn't responsible because of his head trauma. McCoy thinks he didn't do it. Eventually, Kirk's just like, we should just go to the ship, scan his brain, and know for absolute sure. And Hanks is like, no, let's not do that. And George is like, okay. He says,
Very well. We will go to your ship. And he who is guilty will face the ancient penalties, barbaric and horrible though they may be. The ancient penalty for murder was death by slow torture. That law has never been changed. Do you understand that, Mr. Scott?
I understand.
and that is the end of Act 2.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Captain's log, stardate 3615.4. With Mr. Scott in a technical state of arrest, we have beamed aboard the Enterprise to continue the investigation.
We're in the briefing room with, I don't know, Kirk, Scotty, McCoy. Wait, no. Kirk, Spock, Scotty, McCoy. Jarvis, Hengist. The other two guys. I think there's some red shirts in the background. I don't know. Bunch of people in the briefing room. Yeah, so Kirk explains how this little light up lie detector on the chair thing works. You know when would have been a good time for that? The 2 times in season 1 we had trials where we used this device.
Yes. Yes, they would have
Like,
been.
like seriously, the other 2 times we've used this, they never explained that it was a lie detector or how it works. They just used it and assumed we knew. And now in season 2, they're explaining how this thing works.
Maybe that's why they're explaining it, because everybody was like, what is that? Are they just sitting in a chair? What's going on?
Someone finally realized, oh hey, we never actually said that that was a lie detector. Alright, so Kirk has Scotty take the stand. He has the computer identify Scotty.
Working. Lieutenant Commander Montgomery Scott. Serial number SE19754T. Verified.
Oh hey, I think this is the first time we learned Scotty's real first name. I think that's right.
What was it?
Montgomery.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought it was. So I was gonna say a joke before you started the clip, but I'll say it now. So where's Scotty gonna take the chair to? Or take the stand to?
Wow. He's gonna take it to engineering, obviously.
Obviously, if he can ever find it.
He'll find it next week. He's in there a lot next week.
But he's also on the bridge a lot too.
Yeah. I think he will also be on the bridge next week.
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah. Kirk asks about Scotty's physical condition, working, subject recently received severe blow on skull, damage healing, some peripheral abnormalities. Kirk asks if they could cause amnesia, working, negative. McCoy's like, but that doesn't make sense. And then Kirk's like, well, Scotty could be lying. And Scotty's like, I'm not lying. I don't remember anything about the first 2 murders.
Yeah, you caught that too.
I caught it just now as I read it.
Yeah. I was like, wait, you remember about the third one though?
Well, yeah, he'll say that eventually. Kirk asks the computer if that's accurate. Subject relaying accurate account. No physiological changes. And that's when Scotty's like, I remember the 3rd murder. He explains.
We were holding hands. When the lights went out, the circle was broken. I heard the poor lady screaming. I was near the head of the table anyway. I went toward her, but there was something in my way.
Something? You mean someone?
No, Captain. Something. cold it was, like a stinking draft out of a slaughterhouse, but it wasn't really there. Like a... if you know what I mean.
Computer.
Subject relaying accurate account. No physiological changes.
All right. Then Kirk's just like, "Did you kill her?" And Scotty's like, "No, I didn't. I remember."
Which her are we talking about?
The wife.
The wife?
The third one that he remembers. The
Oh, okay.
yeah. And Hengist is like, "That doesn't mean anything. He's been saying the same stuff the whole time. I don't remember anything. I didn't kill the third one. It means nothing." And Kirk's like, "Scotty, lie to me. How old are you?" 22. Inaccurate. Data in error.
I wonder how old he is actually.
Well, he's not 22. We know that.
Right.
All right.
I'm gonna say 37.
I think he's older than that. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna actually look it up. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. James.
Hey Siri, how old is Montgomery
Doohan.
Scott on the original Star Trek?
He was 47. You were 10 years off. You were exactly 1 decade off.
I thought you froze for a second, but I can see your phone stuff moving on your phone, so I was like, "Oh, he's not frozen."
No, I was looking at my phone. I thought there was an important work thing on my phone, but no. Apparently, Papa John's is being delivered there tonight. But I don't work tonight because I'm doing this.
Oh, you do, and the
No, I don't work at anymore, David. I've told you this.
did you?
Yes.
So you just do the
Yes. Although I'm going to cut
Okay.
that out because I don't want the listeners to know I work in a...
well, I thought we were cutting it out anyway.
Well, I will cut that out. Okay. All right, where were we? Scotty's not 22. Okay. Kirk asks who was holding Scotty's hand. Scotty says he was holding Kirk's and Morla's hand. Morla's the guy who was engaged to the dead girl.
No, I thought Morla was the girl.
No.
Oh,
And Morla's like, "That doesn't mean anything. That was a tiny room. Anyone could have killed her." And Hengist is like, "Yeah, but, Scotty was holding her dead body. I think Scotty did it."
you know what? What would have solved all this
What?
if Kirk would have kept holding Scotty's hand when the lights went out, because then Scotty would have tried to pull Kirk. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, that's kind of gay.
So,
Which is okay, but this was the 60s. That wasn't okay then. Anyways, and then Kirk's like, "But the lie detector says he didn't lie." And then Hank's like, "Well, what about the other 2 women who were murdered?" And then Kirk asked if he killed Kara, and Scotty's like, "I don't remember." And then he asked, "Did you kill Lieutenant Tracy?" He's like, "I don't remember." And then the computer says, "Subject relaying accurate account, no physiological changes." And Jarvis is like, all that proves is that he actually doesn't remember. Like, he still could have done it. All right, and the Hengist is just like, "This is all just a waste of time." And Kirk's like, "Well, we'll scan his brain with the psycho tricorder because apparently we haven't done that yet. I would have started with that."
I mean, they tried to, remember?
Well, yeah, but after they beamed up to the ship.
Or hooked him up to Spock, do something.
Yeah. We can only have one mental powered person per episode. And since Cyber was there, we can't have Spock have his powers.
And if it was Janeway, she'd be like all up on that.
She'd be like,
Mind
Tuvok,
meld."
scan his brain now. Give him a mind meld. Right now.
Yeah. I think even Archer would do it a little bit. Be like, "I don't care if you get a disease, do it."
Yeah, no, that was back when they were using mind melds as a analogy for being gay in the 21st century. So no, I don't think Archer would have made T'Pol do a mind meld. And then Kirk's like, "Will everyone be happy if we do the psycho tricorder?" And Hank's like, "If you can prove that it's accurate." And Kirk's like, "It is accurate. It doesn't have errors. Because computers are perfect, even though a computer once said that I killed a man." All right, you weren't there for that episode.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so Kirk's like, okay, so there's no objections, and Hanks is like, I object to all of this crap. And Jarvis is like, we're gonna cooperate. Then Morla takes the stand. He takes it to the kitchen.
Takes the stand to the kitchen.
Yes.
That took. I was
Took
like,
you a minute.
I was like, why is Couch staring at me?
Because I needed a reaction to the joke.
I even listened to it too. I was like, why is he staring at me?
All right. So Kirk asks where Morla was when the first girl was murdered. He's like, I don't know. I was walking home. I was angry. And Spock's like, that's all relative. Were you angry enough to kill someone? And he's like, I've never done anything violent in my life. No, I didn't kill her. We loved each other. And then the dad, Tark, is like, that's not true. You were always jealous. You all fought all the time. She didn't love you. The dad's kind of a...
He is. Very much so.
All right, then Kirk asks if he killed Lieutenant Tracy. He's like, no. I don't even know Lieutenant Tracy. Then he asks if he killed Cybo. Also no. And then Kirk asks for the computer to verify subject relaying accurate account, though some statements subjective, no physiological changes. I think the subjective part is about her loving him. That's subjective. Love isn't scannable. All right, then Kirk starts talking about how Cybo mentioned a hunger that never does, and they start trying to look at it from that perspective. Like, all right, what'd she say? Hunger that never dies, devourers of light, Red Jack, Baratus, Kessela, stuff like that. All right, then Spock asks the computer to define the word Red Jack. Working, negative, finding. All right, so then Spock has the computer scan all language banks, and the computer's like, working, affirmative, a proper name. And then the computer says, Red Jack, source, Earth, 19th century, language, English, nickname for mass murder of women, other Earth synonyms, Jack the Ripper. All right, so now it's a Jack the Ripper episode.
Redacted.
You know, I feel like a lot of shows do a Who Was Jack the Ripper episode. That and DB Cooper. A lot of shows do Who Was Jack the Ripper and Who Was DB Cooper episodes.
When they should be doing Who the Zodiac Killer Was.
I'm sure that's been done too. Although I think... Wait, don't we know who the Zodiac Killer was now?
I don't know.
I feel like a while back, like, someone admitted to doing it. But I don't know. They did a whole movie about the Zodiac Killer. And it was great.
I try not to pay attention to that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It was like the early 2000s. It had Mysterio, Iron Man, and the Hulk in it.
Was Iron Man the Zodiac Killer?
No, he was...
Zodiac Killer.
No, he was a newspaper guy.
Oh.
But yeah, it had Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal, and Mark Ruffalo in it. Before the MCU. Alright.
There's nothing before the MCU. The MCU's always existed.
I hate to break to you, David, but no, it hasn't. Alright, Kirk and Hanks is like, that's ridiculous. Jack the Ripper was hundreds of years ago. And I totally know about that because I don't know. Why does Hangus know about that? Jack the Ripper was from Earth. Is Hangus a human? Is he a human colonist?
Yeah, I caught that too. I was like, how would you know about that?
I don't know, maybe all these people are humans, or wait, maybe Hangus ancestors are from Earth and they colonized Rigel. Actually, that would make sense with canon. Because, like, we knew about, like, Rigel and Rigelians, like, in Archer's day. So I could see humans, like, moving over to that system. I buy it. Alright, and they're all like, he couldn't survive all these centuries. And Jarvis is like, she did say it was a hunger that never dies. And I think that's when Kirk, Spock, and maybe even McCoy start, like, theorizing, alright, what kind of creature could do all this stuff? could be like a creature that doesn't have a body, could be non-corporeal, could possess people, could do all this stuff. Hanks is like, y'all are just making up ghost stories to save Scotty.
Computer, digest log recordings for past 5 solar minutes. Correlate hypotheses. Compare with life forms register. Question. Could such an entity within discussed limits exist in this galaxy?
The Drella of Alpha Carina 5 derived nourishment from the emotion of love. There is sufficient precedent for existence of creature, nature unknown, which could exist on emotion of fear.
Alright, then Spock asks the computer to figure out what like the most likely composition of that creature would be. Kirk asks the computer if it could take a physical form, and the computer says, affirmative, precedent, Melitus cloud creature of Alpha Majoris 1. And Hangus is like, this is all bullcrap. And Kirk's like, no, I've seen that thing. It's a gas, but when it sleeps, it's solid. And Spock points out that Jack the Ripper was able to kill a bunch of women even though he was in the most populated city on Earth. And they're like, yeah, that doesn't seem likely, does it? A gas creature could probably get away with that, huh? And then Kirk asks the computer to look up any other unsolved cases similar to Jack the Ripper and this killer we're dealing with now. The computer says,
Working, 1932, Shanghai, China, Earth, 7 women knifed to death, 1974, Kiev, USSR, Earth, 5 women knifed to death, 2105, Martian colonies, 8 women knifed to death, 2156, Heliopolis, Alpha Eridani 2, 10 women knifed to death. There are additional examples.
and I want to stop here for a second because she says 2156. And there was one of these cases. Enterprise ended in 2155. Had we got a season 5, they could have done this episode. This could have been an episode of Enterprise.
Yeah, it could have.
I don't think it would have been, but I think it could have, and it would have been cool. Actually, maybe not, because I don't like this episode, but it might have been cool. Alright, Spock points out that, like, all of those different places, like, from Earth through all those places to the planet they're on now is a direct line, so probably the same thing.
You know, I was gonna say it kind of looks like that it formed on Earth, but then when you think about it, it's just that the database was formed on Earth,
Yeah.
really. I mean, well, you think you'd have some like other like Vulcan databases and you know.
Maybe. Or maybe it did form on Earth, because Kirk says, yeah, as man moved out into the galaxy, that thing must have moved with man. So maybe it is from Earth.
So then how did it get formed? Like that's the big question in this.
I don't know, just some weird creature that formed on Earth that no one knew about. Let's see. All right. Then Kirk asked the computer to identify the other names that Cybo said when she was doing her Hocus Pocus deal. Working. Kessler, name given to unidentified mass murder of woman on planet Deneb 2. Baratus, name given to unidentified mass murder of women on planet Rigel 4. Additional data. Murders on Rigel 4 occurred 1 solar year ago. And then that's when everyone's like, hey, Hangus is from Rigel 4.
I like it when Spock does his little his
eyebrow lift.
Yeah. It's like, oh, someone just got caught doing something.
And that's when they were like, the knife went missing when Hangus left the house. Alright, then Spock says, an entity which feeds on fear and terror would find a perfect hunting ground on Argelius, a planet without violence, where the inhabitants are as peaceful as sheep. The entity would be as a hungry wolf in that fold. He said the thing! He said the thing! Alright, and then Hangus is trying to play it off cool, like, you're all just speculating, like, you have no evidence of any of this. Then the computer scans the knife. Working. Exhibit A on visual. Composition of blade. Beridium. Composition of handle. Uraninite. Details of carving on handle conform to folk art forms indicating place of origin. Spock asks what the point is. Artifact produced by hill people of Argus River region, planet Rigel 4. And then they're like, aha, the knife is from Rigel 4 too. Hangus tries to make a break for it, but Kirk gives him a good right cross. And then McCoy runs up to him. He's dead, Jim. And then we hear this voice coming from the computers.
The computer will not respond to these controls. The entity is unquestionably controlling it.
And the computer controls the ship.
And that is the end of Act 3.
Kind of, when he's like, the computer controls the ship, it's like, yeah, we know that.
He had to end the act with like something tense. Jack the Ripper is in the Enterprise computer, because that totally makes sense. Once again, I don't like this episode. Spock's trying to get back into the computer with no luck. They're like, he's probably gonna freak out the ship, freak out the crew, and that's just gonna feed him because he feeds on fear. Let's knock everyone up with some sedatives. Kirk and Spock go into the corridor. They figure, hey, if we make the computers try to solve a math problem that can't be solved, maybe that'll cause Jack the Ripper to not be able to control the computers that much. They go into a turbo lift. They try to go to the bridge. The turbo lift free falls. Then they stop it, and then they get to the bridge. On the bridge, life support systems are jammed. There's like a picture of the screen that's just like fire and brimstone and scary stuff. Sulu's freaking out about life support, but Kirk's just like, get back to your station. Keep flying the ship. Jack the Ripper just keeps being like, you're wasting time. You're all about to die. I sound like Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. Sulu has this fun line. This is the first time I heard a malfunction threaten us. Kirk and Spock are trying to fix life support. A nurse shows up and starts knocking everyone out with tranquilizer. Well, not knocking him out, but like just shooting him up with tranquilizer so they don't get scared.
Gonna come in with like a dart gun and just
yeah. Kirk has her tranquilize everyone except for him and Spock. You cannot stop me now, Captain. It will do you no good. I control all circuits. You cannot silence me. You cannot reach me. Your manual overrides are extremely limited in life. Spock. Proceeding, Captain, but I will need some time. Yes, I know. Soon all control will be restored to me. There is nothing you can do to prevent it. If you destroy the ship, you destroy yourself. I am without ending. I have existed from the dawn of time, and I shall live beyond its end. In the meantime, I shall feed, and this time I do not need a knife. You will all die horribly, searing in pain. Yeah, Spock's just like, he's just trying to scare us. Jack the Ripper says that's gonna cut off all oxygen. And then Sulu has this line, Captain? Gets shot in the arm. Whoever he is, he sure talks gloomy. Kirk says, man your post, mister. If any other systems go out, switch to manual override, and above all, don't be afraid. And then Sulu says again, with an armful of this stuff, I wouldn't be afraid of a supernova. Drugged up Sulu's funny. Alright, then Spock has the computer try to solve pi. And then he's like, no. Alright, then Kirk and Spock go back to the briefing room where McCoy's finishing up drugging everybody, and then Kirk has him drug himself. And McCoy's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And Kirk says, we'll do it anyways. Let's see. So then McCoy drugs himself, and then Jack the Ripper goes back into Hengist's body, and Kirk and him fight a bit, and then they get him into the transporter room. They throw him on the transporter, beam him into space, but into millions of pieces, and they beat Jack the Ripper.
Or Piglet, whichever one you
Or
want to say.
Piglet. They beat Piglet the Ripper.
Piglet the Ripper. That should be some like merchandise or something.
Piglet the Ripper.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not trademarked.
Yeah, it is.
Piglet?
Er,
I
well,
thought Winnie the Pooh
wait,
and all them trademark already.
I mean, the characters are public domain, but like, you can't like do like the Disney version of those characters.
Right. I thought even the Disney characters of them were already public domain.
No, it's just the book characters.
Well, that'd be fine.
All right. Anyways,
Bones, how long will it take for this tranquilizer to wear off?
Oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours. I gave him a pretty big shot, Jim.
Yes, I can see that. Well, Mr. Spock, for the next 5 or 6 hours, we're going to have the happiest crew in space. Of course, we won't get much work done.
Captain, since you came to Argelius to rest, I suggest you take advantage of the opportunity.
That's a splendid idea, Mr. Spock. I know a cafe where the women are so...
I know the place, Jim.
Let's go see.
You gentlemen, in your condition, don't be ridiculous. Mr. Spock, this cafe has women that are so... No, I guess not. Alone? Gentlemen.
and that is the end of our episode. Now let's go to the red shirt death count. This week we lost 1 blue shirt, which means in total we've lost 2 beige shirts, 5 blue shirts, 7 gold shirts, 1 hazard vest guy, 5 red shirts, and a total of 20 crewmen. And we do count the beige shirts as red shirts, so we now have 7 red shirt deaths on the board. And yes, I know last time I did the red shirt death count, I got some numbers wrong. I fixed it.
I wouldn't have even noticed.
I didn't notice till I was re-listening to it later. All right, final thoughts.
It wasn't the worst episode.
I think it was.
It
Anyways,
wasn't
go
the
ahead.
best. It was not the best episode. It's not the Bailey episode.
Hey, that was a good episode all in all. Bailey was just an annoying character.
On the Bailey scale, 1 Bailey being the best, right? And 10 being the worst?
Yes.
Or is that
Wait.
reversed?
Yeah, no, 10 is the worst, 1 is the best.
Okay. So, I'm going to give it a 9. 9 Baileys.
I accept that. I do think it's the worst. I think the only episode that is worse is that one really racist episode of Next Generation.
Which one? There's about 20 of them.
Nah, there's just one really racist Next Generation episode. We'll get into it in a few years. However long it takes us to get there.
About 6 years.
Join us next week for The Changeling. You can find me on Instagram at Couch Talks Movies. David, tell the people where they can find you.
On TikTok, you can follow me at _actual_David. And on Instagram, you can follow me at _actual_David_Moss.
You can find the show on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Tomorrow Trek Pod and at patreon.com/tomorrowisyesterday. Don't forget to check out our stuff on the Couch Podcast Network store, where you can get 20% off everything from now until April 17th. And we do have some brand new stuff over there, like the Blame It on the Cordrazine shirt. Links are in the description. And please, if you are enjoying this show, please consider rating and reviewing on your podcast app of choice. I'll even take it one step further. If you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, I will read your review on the podcast. And until next time,
Live long and don't kill women.